Today I have the honor and privilege of interviewing Reverend Deacon Barnabas Iorgilim. And I want Deacon Barnabas to know that this is a moment of gratitude and thanksgiving. And on behalf of the clergy and faithful of the Archdiocese, I want to let him know that we're grateful to God for his gift, his giving of himself in service in the sacred priesthood here in the Archdiocese. Welcome.
Thank you, Deacon.
You have an interesting name, man, Barnabas. Who gave you the name?
Yeah, I grew to meet the name, possibly, but when I tried to verify, it was given to me by my father. So at first, I was not okay with the name. I said Barnabas because some people used to confuse me with Barnabas during the Passion. Oh. So I said, why should they give me such a name? And my father told me that my birthday was 29th of May, and the closest saint that he felt was very outstanding was Barnabas on the 11th of June. So that's how come the name.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. Actually, you're probably the only Barnabas whom I know. And I know you're going to be bringing out a lot of Pauls. You know, Barnabas brought Paul out from seclusion.
Yes.
Yes. You know, it is a pleasure for us here in St. Lucia to have people like you having come to serve us. For so many years, these territories were mission territories of Europeans, Frenchmen, and also people from England and the United States. And so the tables have turned in such an interesting way. We have those sisters of St. Joseph, of Jesus the Savior, and they're doing such wonderful work. And we have other priests of Nigeria like Father Charles, Father Simone, Father Celestine. Yes. Yes, of other religious orders. But Africa, India, and the Philippines are now the places that are providing missionary work in our areas. Tell us a little about your family, about your background in Nigeria.
Okay. I'm born into the family of Sebastian and Philomena Iorgilim Ndieyo. Both were devoted Catholics, but they are dead now. They are not alive. We, the children, are the ones still remaining. And they were very committed so much to this Catholicism over there in Nigeria, because the part of Nigeria where I come from are predominantly Christians and Catholics, to be specific. So I was born into a Catholic family, raised as a Catholic, and now I'm a Catholic clergy.
Beautiful, wonderful. The call to the priesthood, you know, in Scripture they tell us no one takes this job by himself, but must be called as Aaron was. Tell us a little about when did you recognize that call, and how? Share with us.
Yes, I started nurturing this call as a child. You know, my mom died earlier, even before I went into primary one. So I was always with my father. My father was into different pious societies. Some he was even heading as a president. So we're always going to church activities. And we had then a white priest called Father R. Woos, a missionary. So he was quite a very wonderful, hard-working priest. And he inspired so many of us, which I was one of. His pattern of life, he was very dedicated, time-conscious, down to earth. And the way he preached, he struggled as a white man, even with his accent. I could see him struggling to speak my language, and that was where I was struggling. I want to be like him. I then joined the altar service, and from there Shortly before I took my secondary education examination, I was telling God, God, if you allow me to pass these exams, I'm going to serve you as a priest, making a commitment with God. And eventually I came out victoriously, and then from there I said, this has been my dream, and I've gone into commitment with God, so let me carry it.
That's wonderful. It actually shows how the influence of the priest is so crucial, than the example. Tell me, they say that in the vocation to the priesthood, there is always a vocation within the wider and broader vocation. Some are called to be communicators, others to be counselors, others to be youth, people of youth formation. What is your particular area of interest within the priesthood?
As for me, as my name goes, Barnabas, in it is son of encouragement. And I find myself so much into encouraging people and giving them hope in hopeless situations. So my vocation, I see that is that of counseling. And the few I met, I try to give them hope, and they're at home with it. And having a good knowledge of psychology too, I applied it, and it has been working so much. So I think, and I would like to believe, that I will be a good counselor, and that is my area of specialty.
Beautiful, that's beautiful. And in fact, so many of our people need that encouragement, that self-affirmation, the self-esteem, building up the self-esteem of your people. What qualities of priestly life do you wish to see reflected in your own life and in your service?
Yes, like for me, I want to be a humble priest, a priest that everybody can approach. I really want to be a priest for those who seems to be neglected in the society, like the elderly. When they become incapacitated, people no longer take them for anything. Those are the people I want to affiliate myself with them so much. And the poor, the one the church we call the anawims, those ones are the ones I want to give them hope in their situation through the act of words, or even if I can offer some other charity in the way I can. So I also have a very strong something I take as the background of my priesthood, which is from Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, as others will call it in other translations, 3:18. The more higher I become, the humbler I should be, so that through that God will bless me and I'll be able to relate with people, because the priesthood is already seen very high. If you're not a humble person, you will either send away people rather than bringing them. So I want to be a humble priest.
Very, very important. That sense, that humility of spirit and service to those who are on the fringes. Our Holy Father Pope Francis constantly stresses that. He would be happy to hear you describe, your service in those words. What about celibacy? How do you see this gift of God fitting into your own life and service?
Yes, for me, I really agree, and I am happy with Pope Gregory VII when I heard that in 1139 he then abolished the marriage of priesthood, now for priests to become celibate. It's very nice. I love it. I love it in the sense that my primary concern now is Christ, but no longer espoused by the side that I will have to say, oh, I want to do this. If I move to do my work, I know I'm out to do it. There is no distraction. Though it's a challenge, it's not something that one will say, oh, it's just like this. It's a struggle that we keep struggling every day. and I know the power of God will see me through.
Beautiful. In this way, you're going to be able to devote your entire interest to the work of God and of the church. Undivided heart is the phrase that's often used. What about, I notice your ordination to the priesthood is slated for Sunday, 11th April. Why did you choose that date?
Divine Mercy Sunday, this 11th of Divine Mercy Sunday. And in fact, if you understand the journey of my vocation in its entirety, you will know that at this point I am is solely by the mercy of God. Yes, because I'm just about to be ordained. My original classmates are already priests. I have celebrated years. But the mercy of God kept me going and kept me steadfast, and I've held on to it. And there is no other date that will suit to this occasion than the divine mercy for God to show me His mercy. My motto, even the first day I was admitted into the seminary, and they asked you, what is your motto? I wrote there, Jesus, I trust in you. So it's following me. I began with it, and I'm ending with it on ordination.
That's wonderful, actually. And mercy, mercy, mercy.
See, the purpose also of Pope Francis is all about mercy, mercy. And the entire human person, we need the mercy of God to be able to excel in anything that we are going to do.
Be merciful. Let us turn now to your St. Lucian experience. You have been with us for 2 years, and you have served in the Grosley parish, which is quite extensive. You have served too in Soufrière and Fonsejac, and now you're based in Labrie. Tell us a bit about your experiences. What have you learned about the St. Lucian people? How do they compare? How do we compare with your own people?
First I came and I served, and it's from Soufrière, Grosley, then Labrie. And in Soufrière, Fonsaint-Jacques, and in Grosley we have Monchy and Grand Rivière, and then in Labrie we have Ogy. It has been very wonderful. I tell you, the reception I was given when I arrived St. Lucia, especially in Soufrière, because I came in then, there was no pandemic. So everything was normal. Yes. Was normal, and I had a very wonderful reception from the priests. They tried to, and Soufrière is like the hub of tourists, and then tourists were everywhere. I was being taken around by the priests, introduced to the people, like that. And that experience I had from Soufrière, I've never had any other place, because this other place is all the pandemic came. So it's, in fact, the experience I had in Grosley was a good one, because I and Monsignor Michel have our own Easter, only 2 of us. It was a unique one. And so there is that close-knit attachment of only 2 of us, locked down, complete lockdown. It's a good experience of its own. But I seems to like, I know the people better in Soufrière, because then I was able to move around. There was no restriction of gathering more than the other places. But is very wonderful. They had something similar to African culture. We, the Africans, we are the type, we are the, how will I put it now, we're the celebrating type. We love dancing. We go out, we like sharing what we have. We celebrate our foods. We take them to the liturgy. We dance in our liturgy. So some of those feel okay. Some of them feel okay, like the Creole Day, the way they do their things takes me back to Africa, and I just blended with the entire culture. It's as if I'm at home, even though I'm far away.
Turning now to vocations of the priesthood and religious life. I have for you a question. What is your opinion? How is it that here in our archdiocese, ordinations and vows are so few and far between? And from your interaction with young people especially, what have you discovered? What do you think is needed to attract more young men to the priesthood, for example?
Yes, first of all, from what I would say is one of the reasons why there seems to be very few vocations from this part of the world is that the church, when I come, the shock I receive is that the church is like a church for the elderly. Yeah, you don't see young people there. I got my inspiration from as a child when my father was taking me into the church and I was attending all the pious societies. That was when I got my inspiration. Now the young people are not there. So where would they get their inspirations? They are with the secular society, if I will put it that way. So they got more attracted to the secular world than the religious world. So if the grandmothers, the grandparents make it as an obligation to be bringing them to church, then the church will be able to catch them young. By the time they become adults, hey, you've lost them already. That's one of the reasons I see. You only see them when maybe their fellow mate died. Even in funerals, they don't come. But if it's a teenager of their type that you see them. So it's not the best. During, you see them when they are coming for catechism, First Holy Communion, the very day they finish their First Holy Communion, they go, it's like if they've graduated, which is not so. Right. By that doing, the vocation...
We actually do need a strong revival among the youth, by the way. We need to put more emphasis and more attention. And in fact, younger priests and clergy like you can play a very important part there.
Yes.
You're perfectly right, actually. If you were talking to a group of young men, for example, who were thinking of the priesthood, what would you emphasize? What would you encourage them or advise them on? If they're thinking, if they're aspiring, for example.
I would, like advise them to be closer to the church and young priests like myself, to see that, their mate can also be there, because as they say, the youngest priest now, I don't know whether in age, but then in ordination, is already 50 plus. So there is no young person like that. But at my level, they see that, okay, it's like them, it's young. In fact, God made it, I'm not even robust, the time that it may even intimidate them. So I would say they should come closer to people like me, and then they can see that they can also make it. It's nothing extraordinary. Yes.
You actually, your youthfulness, both you and Father Cleophas and Albert have a significant role, I think, to play, because they can identify more easily, and you can do a lot with them. Let's turn to the new technology. We're in a different age, and from what I've learned of you from time to time, you seem to have an interest in things like designing, web designing. Tell us a little about the importance of that. How do you see new technology in the life of the church?
In fact, I would begin by saying that this is the era of the new technology. This pandemic has brought about the boost in this aspect. As a person, I studied website designing and management. So I'm a website designer. That is what I've done, even from my home diocese back there in Nigeria. I did it for them. I did it for some schools. I did some organizations like that, which I manage for them. And so I'm intending to also do it for the Archdiocese here too, or add to what they have. And so that aspect is a very good aspect to explore as young people, even adults, not only limited to young people. So you see, this time around now, there is no time that one would say is late because of the use of technology. If there is an information that comes around, let's say 7 p.m., you say, oh, we don't have mass. But many of the parishes and some of the organizations like the youth, they have a platform, a WhatsApp platform. They just send it there. Some are on Facebook, parish Facebook or group Facebook. They send the information there and it's already there. You see, like Father Cleo, he's every day giving out his meditations. And not just meditations, there you also see him identifying with people who have birthdays, marriages, anniversaries. You see, even my ordination is doing some countdown, you know. I feel good about it. So I would like to believe that, others too feel the same way. That's the beauty of using technology in our evangelization.
Perfectly right. In fact, Father Cleo has been exemplary in that regard. And even in his the way he interrelates with his parish council in Bexon, I've been very much impressed. He's able to harness a vote from among the members of the council through the WhatsApp, you know, and that's a tremendous thing, I think. So that you're well placed in order to enrich the whole use of the technology wherever you're posted and for the Archdiocese in general. Is there anything else that you would like to say to us that maybe I have not asked you? I want to give you a few closing words, maybe.
Okay. Generally, what I would want to say is this. Regards evangelization and then conscientizing the people in general. If you, like you mentioned at the beginning, African vocation, let me call Pope Benedict. Pope Benedict said, Africa is the future, place of Catholicism because of the level at which the Catholic Church has grown wide in there. And they are missionaries to different places. And then this is something that at least everybody has recognized all over the world, at least in the Catholic side. No, there's no place that you say you not have maybe one or two persons from Africa. Now, Africa has its own way of doing things. One of the ways is their accent. They have a strong accent, just like the Indians. And many a times, sometimes when they come with that accent and try to evangelize, a very good number of the people are not okay. We don't understand the Africans. We don't understand the Indians. But there is a way you will say it in love that they will feel encouraged and work towards it. But if you say it in such a way that is so so humiliating, they will feel not accepted. And the way things are going, I would advise the Catholics here that they better begin to turn their ears towards Africa and Indians. So that, because the way the future looks is like maybe it will come a time it will only be priests from Africa and Indians that will be here. So at that time, what will you say? So just let's keep that type of sentiment. I don't understand it. Open your ears and be able to carry everybody along.
Yeah, you've raised some interesting points there. And of course, we have to keep hope alive and to nurture and to seek to nurture a local clergy among our people. It's a joy and a pleasure to wrap with you. And we want you to know how happy we are to have you with us. And I know that your people in Grosile and Soufrière have been telling you that and keeping in touch with you, and that they're praying. We're praying for you as you prepare yourself for the Feast of Divine Mercy. And we look forward to, when the pandemic is over, to enjoy a little more Creole Day and things of that sort.
Yes. Thank you so very much. I would just add by saying it will be a thing of joy for me to see that at least maybe one of the aspirants that we have some aspirants here who are locals, if to see that this year they take that bold step of going to the seminary.
Yes.
So that we'll see that, yes, there is the vocations director that is working so hard is not in vain. Thank you so very much.
Thank you too, for Deacon Barnabas. God's richest blessings as you prepare.
Thank you.